Well, good morning. It's about 7:30 on a Tuesday morning, and it's about 7 degrees below zero outside my house. So I am in our recording studio here, and I want to bring you the word for today. We're going through our Reading Through the Bible program. And listen up, guys. If you're not a part of this program, you need to join it. You can go to our website, which is crossingpaths.org, and please join the program. I will share a word with you at the end of this video to tell you how to do that, but you can do it on our website. Today I'm actually reading out of Genesis, or reading is out of Genesis chapter 37. I love this chapter because it talks about the people that suffer for doing good, people who suffer for doing good. And this happens all the time. The Bible tells us in 1 Peter 2:20. Matter of fact, I'm just going to read this to you. I was looking this up this morning, and this verse really touched me this morning, that it says, for what credit is there if when you sin, you are chastised or beaten for that, and you endure that? What credit is there? It says, but if when you do good and suffer for it, you endure, this is a gracious thing in the sight of God. It actually says that this is how you find favor with God. So there are people on the earth who do good and do right and want to build God's kingdom, and they have to suffer for that. You may be living the best life that you think you could possibly live, but yet there may be somebody sick in your family. You might lose your job. You may go through uh, persecution. People may speak evil falsely of you. The Bible says that blessed are you when men say all manner against you falsely. So there's a manner of living godly that other people don't like. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're actually reading from our Bible Pathways program. As I said, I'll be reading out of Genesis chapter 37. And it says this, and Joseph dreamed a dream. This represents any gifts or talents or abilities that you have, or being a leader. You may be a leader at your workplace, right? You may be a husband, you may be a wife, you may be a pastor, you may be a teacher, you may be in any type of leadership position where God has given you gifts and talents and abilities, and that causes people to be jealous. So listen to this. And he told his brethren, Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told his brethren, and they hated him for it. God gave Joseph the ability to dream the dream. God gave him the dream. You would think that people would love you for that. Or when you're doing good, you think people would love you for that. This is one of the hardest things to be able to understand in your carnal mind, that why do some of these things happen? And he said unto them, here I pray you this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose. Joseph didn't cause his sheaf to arose. Joseph wasn't going out there giving himself the dream. God blessed him. God is the one who did it for him. And also stood upright, and behold, your sheaves stood around about and made obeisance to my sheaf, or obedience to my sheaf. And his brethren said, shalt thou indeed reign over us? Oh, now we see what the problem was. God blessed Joseph. God placed him in the leadership position. God put Joseph in the position of leadership. And his brethren got jealous and said, oh, you're telling us you're going to reign over us. So they were jealous of the gifts and talents that God gave them. And this happens a lot with us in our lives. And we need to be able to love people regardless of that, and continue to keep our eyes on Jesus. They said, or shalt thou indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dreams. So the more Joseph was trying to do good And the more Joseph was being obedient to God, the more they hated him. So this is encouraging for you if you're living a godly life and you're standing right before God and you're doing good and people hate you for that. I mean, they speak all evil against you falsely. Listen, Joseph was infinitely precious to Jacob. As a long-awaited firstborn son of his much beloved Rachel, Joseph was the apple of his father's eye. Now Israel or Joseph loved, now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colors. So Joseph was blessed with this coat of many colors in Genesis 37:3. Even though he was just 17 years of age, Jacob had not set him to work with his brothers as a shepherd over his flocks. Instead, he had tasked him with the watching over the actions of his older brothers and serving as his messenger. Jacob's blatant favoritism had escaped the notice of his older sons, and their relationship with their brother suffered accordingly. And when his brethren saw that their father loved them more than all his brethren, they hated him and could not speak peaceably to him or unto him. That you could read that in Genesis 37:4. And it was into this already tense family dynamic that God inserted prophetic dreams. Boy, that shook things up when God gave this guy a supernatural gift and he was out giving dreams. Instead of them accepting that and riding with that and going with that, they were more jealous of Joseph. So it says, like a spark to a dry tinder, these dreams ignited a firestorm. So the more he was being obedient to God, the more the people around him just got jealous. Joseph shared them with his family with youthful exuberance, but they were not well received. His beloved father appeared to chastise him for arrogant bragging. His brothers hated for him grew by leaps and bounds. The seeds for tragedy had been sown, and all that was missing was the opportunity. The second that opportunity presented itself, Joseph's brothers pounced on him. Oh my. I'm sure many of you out there feel like you're being pounced on sometime, right? There are many lessons that could be learned from today's reading. Jacob certainly showed poor parenting skills. Joseph could have restrained himself from bragging to his brothers about his amazing dream, and the elder brothers desperately needed to learn to control their tempers. But the most amazing thing that we can see in today's reading is God's will was perfectly interwoven into every second of this whole situation. God took every single weakness and human foible and used them to the furtherment of his plan. At any time, he could have stepped in and altered the path, but instead he chose to work his will alongside the free will of his chosen creation. Our choices, both good and bad, have the ability to alter our lives and the lives of those around us, but they will never, ever be capable of changing the outcome of God's ultimate perfect plan. Did you hear that? God has given us a free will, and that may affect people around us, but it will never alter God's perfect plan. This has been in motion since the first moment of creation, and it will come to its preordained conclusion in God's perfect timing. Listen, my friend, God is always in control, and never forget this. He's the one that loves you. We can draw comfort in the certain knowledge that God is in total and complete control, even when we are at our most miserable and the combined weight of everyone's choices seems to be pressing us down to the point that we can't move or even breathe. We can be assured that God is there and using it all for his glory. Romans 8:28 says that God causes all things to work together for the good, for them who love him and who are the called according to his purpose. So no matter what they say, no matter what they do, as long as you are living right and you are doing right before God, you will have that peace of God that surpasses all understanding. If you're doing anything outside the will of God, you must repent and get yourself back in right standing with God. The thought for today says this: human error is an obstacle we must overcome, but for God, it is merely another piece of his ultimate plan. God has provided everything for you in Jesus Christ. I want to give a word of encouragement today for every single one of you that are out there living your life to the best of your ability, and you're doing what is right, and you're standing before God by doing what is right, especially for those of us that are building God's kingdom. We have been so humbled with the blessing of God throughout the past, 25 years since we've been in ministry, and the doors that God has opened for us, and just the ways that God has been blessing. And I pray that blessing upon you today. I really pray God's blessing upon you and your family. I pray that he blesses you spiritually first with wisdom and knowledge. I pray physically that God would bless you with good health. And I pray financially that God would bless you. He said that we would be the head, not the tail, the lender, not the borrower. We would be above and not beneath. Listen, my friend, I hope this has been a word of encouragement to you and for you. Please share our links. Go to our website. Please do that. And you could join our program. I'm going to close out with this. Please watch this very short 1-minute commercial. God has divinely called us through the Great Commission to preach the gospel and to make disciples. After much prayer and fasting, I've created a powerful community discipleship program to fulfill that calling. Our First Stringer Bible Discipleship Program is one of the best in the country. No one wants to sit on the bench in their life. I want you to be a first stringer and overcome the challenges of the game called life. By reading through the Bible, you will enhance your personal relationship with God through a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. You will receive a Bible Pathways booklet every month for an entire year. These books will provide you with an excellent daily commentary and chapter summary. In addition, I will provide a daily and weekly Bible study commentary that will be listed on our website. We have been faithfully following this program now for 12 years, and it has changed our lives. You can join today for $20 a month for an entire year. This is only 67 cents per day. To join or receive information, please go to our website. Prayerfully consider joining our team today. Love and God bless you.